For I am the Brickmaker. Brickmaker 7 foot tall. Aye, I've heard that. And if he was here, he would have uploaded a Braveheart video that would have destroyed the English, getting over 7 billion views, wouldn't he? Hello everyone, welcome back to the Brickmaker channel. If this is your first time on the channel, please consider subscribing and leaving a like on the video if you do enjoy. And give me a freedom in the comments if you're Scottish as well. This is a video that I've seen suggested quite a lot in both the comments and in the Discord. And it's a video that's allowed me to go back to a lot more of my Scottish roots. It's also allowed me to share a lot of my favourite clips from Scottish TV shows with you. I added a few mods to make this a little bit more exciting. I found this claymore sword, which would have been Wallace's traditional weapon. I found his legionary outfit, which I thought was as close as I could get for a kilt and armour. I also found this mod for Burns Night, which added in the St Andrew's cross, and also a mod that adds haggis to the game, a very traditional Scottish meal. And I added in the healthier Commonwealth mod, to make it a little bit more green just like home. So with that all out of the way, let's ask the question, can you beat Fallout 4 as William Wallace? I choose the name William Wallace. I mean, it would be strange if I picked anything else. And here's what I believed was the best stats for his character. Obviously the high strength because he was able to pick up a 7 foot sword. His perception somewhat low because, well, he always did see the English coming but didn't see them in the end. Average endurance, was able to survive many battles but he didn't win that many. I put his charisma at 5 as he was always able to rouse up the Scottish soldiers and get them ready for a fight. Intelligence of 3 because I thought, well, he always kept fighting against outstanding odds and despite the movie Braveheart, he didn't always win them. And agility of 3 as well because he didn't escape them forever. And a luck of 1 because, well, he was eventually captured and he went one of the worst ways possible. One night, William Wallace has a very strange dream where he has a house and a wife and a son. Before he can enjoy it though, the entire world explodes. None of this felt like Scotland until he entered into the chamber. Ah, freezing cold, exactly like home. We awake midway through our sleep to find the English. Now the English are too many. What are we supposed to do? I can't help. They're messing with my wife again. They're trying to steal my son. Oh no. Oh no. Right, you baldy prick. Next time I see you, you're getting your baldy scarred face battered. I behaved like any Scottish man after he wakes up. Absolutely furious, punching the walls and trying to get out of the cold. And with this image, that means that the Institute is now the English. Fighting my way out of the vault, it's a little bit easier than normal because William Wallace did have access to fists. But unfortunately he did not have access to guns and I've accidentally locked myself out of using my fists again. We have to do the old traditional method anyway. Get ourselves our Pip-Boy and make our way off into the Commonwealth. The first plan of action is to start gathering all the different items that William Wallace will need for this run. The first thing we pick up though outside of Red Rocket is a bottle of scotch, our haggis recipe and the Selkirk Grace.
Some hae meat and canna eat, and some would eat that want it. But we hae meat and we can eat, so let the Lord be thanked.
And there you go, that's something that we would traditionally say on Burns Night. We also have here our recipe for haggis and all the different items that we're going to need. Now this modder's obviously putting a lot of effort, putting the different ingredients, a lot of stuff that I've never even seen before in Fallout 4. And I suppose this is as traditional as you could probably get. I mean with the type of haggis that most people know, not the actual traditional haggis. For anyone outside Scotland who doesn't know this, traditional haggis, now most people hear haggis and think of this. And that's what we eat mostly now, but haggis actually originates from the wild haggis. Very rare creature seeing one of these. Now you'd usually only ever see a wild haggis at a Scottish wedding. And only if all the men are not wearing underwear under the kilts. Any man caught wearing underwear under his kilt at a wedding, well he'll have to buy everyone a beer. And the haggis will refuse to come out. Once the piper starts playing, if everyone adheres to traditional laws of underwear, the wild haggis will come out and do a nice little jig. The reason that we don't ever see wild haggis now is because at a wedding, well, you're not really in the mood for hunting haggis. Men who go out and try and hunt haggis traditionally, well, you can see with the way that they run around the mountains. They've got long legs at the back and short legs at the front. Makes it nigh impossible to catch one. And the actual hunting of haggis was outlawed in 1842. But less of this history lesson, back to Fallout 4. Now, the worst thing possibly could have happened here. When trying to find my weapon of choice, I was unfortunately completing out of time.
Convenient because you're out of time. No points, prick!
I get no points or levels for completing out of time, and just get crap on my chest. In my hunt to clean my chest though, I do finally find Chops the Berserker. Now, Chops the Berserker is definitely a character that you were supposed to face with your own weapon. I decided to face him with just my fists. And my fists were clearly not enough, so I took a little bit of Scottish courage, drank some water to wash it down, and went back at Chops. The issue isn't taking him out, it's the issue of getting hit by that sword, as it's pretty much a one hit at this level with this health. I thought maybe you can just talk to him, do a quest. No, he's immediately aggroed. And I am suffering far too many fatalities at this point. I decide this sneakier approach. Catch the English off guard, you know, something like that. And with a sneak critical and some VATs, I'm able to finally take out Chops the Berserker. I am finally able to claim the claymore sword. For anyone who doesn't know, you can actually see William Wallace's sword at the Wallace Monument. I am quite a tall person myself, over 6 foot tall, and the sword is taller than me. Which means that William Wallace was able to walk around and fight with a sword that was around 6.5, 7 feet big. The endgame model looks fantastic. However, I don't like how low I'm holding the handle of the sword. However, that won't be enough to stop me from wiping out the raiders outside Concord. I also decided to take out the Scottish man's worst enemy. Fucking Simon.
Stupid, big, smelly, spotty, specky Simon, with boils all over your back, no doubt.
Aye, Simon the prick.
And with Simon taken out, I decided to head over to Goodneighbor where I'll pick up my outfit for this playthrough. A traditional kilt and armour. Which, just to let most of you guys know, historically speaking, William Wallace would have never have wore a kilt. In fact, he would have probably have wore something more akin to what a wildling in Game of Thrones would have wore, but Braveheart has kilts, so we're wearing kilts. We're able to spot some sort of ghost in the background. I see you, you wee dick. But there's no time to fear the ghosts. Now, even though the radiation is getting a bit much for us, when I was getting to a Goodneighbor, I thought I'd walk in and act like this.
You're a dick! You're a dick! You're under the thumb! And you're a prick!
But instead, I was just completely hounded by this dog. I was unaware that the vicious mongrels were able to follow you into Goodneighbor. And the second I walk in, he follows me and immediately takes a bite out of my butt cheek. This is enough to take me out immediately, so I have to spam my Pip-Boy so I can get a little bit of healing on. Once I eat some of his brethren, I'm unfortunately stuck in some sort of cutscene with Finn. Not exactly the best thing you want to do when you're trying to escape a devil dog. With Finn glitching me out, I start losing my legs and eventually lose my life. I try to save again, trying to avoid Finn, but my god, his powerful gaze is still able to track me no matter which way I run. And trying to VATS my way, try to do anything, I still end up getting caught. So I tried running out of Goodneighbor to see if that helped. It did not. This vicious mongrel only has eyes for me. I try and do everything possible. I try running away. I try and get super mutants involved. I try blowing it up with some mines. And obviously I can't use any of these items. In fact, something probably important to note now is that I can't use any sort of stim packs, radaway, pork and beans, anything like that. I can only heal by things that William Wallace would be able to heal with. So that pretty much includes cooking food and purified water. And obviously sleeping in beds. If I want to heal this radiation, I'll have to go see a doctor. Eventually I get myself back into Goodneighbor and Finn finally starts helping me out. With that I'm able to make a little bit of a gap, turn around and get my VATS ready. This time I get some big swings in and eventually take it out. However, this experience has shaken me a little.
50. Maybe 60 pounds worth of devil dog on top of me, tearing at me, trying to eat me. The whole time I'm giving it body blows.
As a thank you to Finn for starting to shoot the dog, but also locking me in a bunch of different cutscenes that got me killed more than once, I decided that I don't even want to speak to Finn. There's only one way for him to go. I make my way to the top of Daisy's store and pick up my Wasteland Legionary outfit. Now, I actually love the design of this. It's pretty much a Legion outfit, but it's built with license plates from California. Really cool piece of design, I'm a real big fan of it. And I take my traditional outfit and my big old Scottish sword to the Museum of Had to get at least one freedom in there somewhere. Now this is a melee weapon, it's pretty balanced actually. Yeah, it's one shot on most low level raiders, but it's not overly powerful. After saving Preston, I decided to go wipe out the rest of them and forgot about fall damage. After getting down a little bit safer, I decided to run straight to the Deathclaw, as it can help me take out the rest of the raiders and the raiders can help me take out the Deathclaw. This is called military tactics. When the Deathclaw is distracted, I decided to run right up behind it and start whacking it with my big old sword. I actually thought on this first attempt I was going to be able to do it. I was feeling pretty confident when I got this critical. But I don't know if you guys noticed it, but it feels like that critical strike didn't do any damage. And in fact, I just stopped doing damage altogether. I decided an aerial attack might do better, but well, that certainly didn't work. And I'm actually eventually taken up by one of the raiders, not the Deathclaw. This attempt goes even worse, as I am somehow giant Skyrim slammed by the Deathclaw. It's the first time I've ever seen that. And on this attempt, I somehow get some form of karma. The Deathclaw flies into the air, and itself is taken out by fall damage. I invite Preston to my sanctuary, and meet up with him over there as he hides in this bush. With the quest when... No, I won't put another freedom in. I decide to hang up the Scottish flag and a nice little Scottish poster for myself as well. With all that, I decide to make my way over to Diamond City. The route to Diamond City is as easy as it always is, and I unfortunately have to run into Piper.
You want into Diamond City, right?
Back off, ya spooky bitch! Come on,
I have to listen through all that drivel just to get into Diamond City and make my way straight over to the doctor. Did Scottish people have doctors back then? Probably. I make my way over to Park Street Station and start wiping out all the trigger men. It's here where I notice that there's a huge flaw with this armour. Now, despite it being beautiful to look at, it only offers one protection, and you cannot add any other leather arm, leather legs, or anything to this armour. So for this entire playthrough, I pretty much don't have armour. This armour is purely aesthetic, which I suppose when you think about Scottish men fighting with kilts on, it's actually pretty fitting really. I don't imagine a kilt did much against a sword swing. But then again, neither do any of these suits, and I'm able to take out Skinny Malone with one beautiful swing. With that, I let Nick know that despite him being English, he's not my enemy, and I go back to Sanctuary to have one good old look at St Andrew's Cross, and to make sure Mama Murphy's not touching it. It's at this point I decide to start making my haggis. Now, like I said before, we weren't able to find any wild haggis, or even any subspecies of wild haggis. No, instead we had to go find silt bean. Honestly, the first time I've ever seen this in my game. Unfortunately, at this point I realised you can't plant any of these different flowers. So the small part of me that wanted to make this so you could only eat haggis to heal died straight away, as I wasn't going to be waiting 100 days all the time to pick up free silt beans. The last ingredient that we needed is gulper innards, so it's time for us to make our way over to Far Harbour. Now, I won't be spending too much time on Far Harbour. This is kind of the Ireland of the Commonwealth. And although we like our Irish friends, it's not time to help them with their war yet. Potentially in a future video. Now here we're only wanting to find our gulper innards. and take out all these other different types of haggises. For that, we're able to go to soup, and we're able to bake our haggis. And we're able to make 2 ya beauty! With our haggis in hand, women literally start running at us. And we described to Nick about how we lost our son. We're able to sweet talk Geneva into giving us the key, and use dog meat to help us find the English. Now on our way, decided to go and help the people of Oberlin Station. As I suppose now is as good a time as any, we will be siding with the Minutemen. A group of soldiers who are revolutionists, looking to fight back against tyranny, seems like the best fit for me. The Institute's the English, the Brotherhood of Steel are the Knights Templar, so they're also the English and the French, and the Railroad are, well, shit, so we won't be siding with them. We arrive at Fort Hagen and take out all the different simps in our way, and we're able to get a nice couple leg breaks off as well. I also encounter the most powerful simp I've ever faced in Fallout 4, and finally reach Kellogg. Now it's here that we're able to take our slow time. We're able to enjoy this, and we're able to take revenge for what he did to our wife. While in vats with our critical, we get a final slice right into his head, and Kellogg falls over, slumped, defeated. And the Brotherhood of Steel turn up straight after. That is the first and last time we will ever see the Brotherhood of Steel in this playthrough. Even with all the playthroughs I've done, it's this one where I realised that, oh, you can actually completely avoid the Brotherhood. They don't even need to be part of this game. But after seeing the English's plan, we make our way to the Glowing Sea. Now there's an obvious problem with the Glowing Sea. I can't use Rad-X or Radaway. So the plan that I hatched was, find a fast travel point in the Glowing Sea, travel back to the Diamond City Market, heal my Rads, fast travel back, and see if I can make my way even closer. I'll be honest, it's resulted in quite a few deaths. Usually the Stingwings as they're very fast, but after reaching the crater of Atom, I knew that I'd pretty much completed it. I make my way into Virgil's cave, and I am shocked to see what I find.
Fuck is that? Get my gaff, you green cunt!
One more healing of the radiation, and I make my way over to Green Tech. It's here we've got to battle our way up all the floors. And this is never the easiest part of this quest. In fact, it might be one of the more difficult quests in the entire game. But I would say it's even more difficult when you've only got a sword and no way to heal yourself. And what I mean by heal myself is by healing crippled limbs. If that rocket launcher guy knocks up my leg, I'm pretty much done for. I also got myself caught in some weird autosave location. Honestly, William Wallace has had no luck with loading into this game, so I had to reload an old save, take a minute to rethink my decisions as I walked through that door, and like any good Scottish man, I decided just to scream and run. I get close enough for VATS that I'm able to take out the guy with the rocket launcher. With that, it's just a case of running through all the turrets I can't shoot and making my way to the Courser. Now this here is just like fighting an English lord. So there's no time for conversation, it's only time for swinging my sword. He actually puts up a much better fight than Kellogg does. And even with his invisibility, I'm still able to take him out. The gunners are pricks, so I decide to take them out as well. And give this synth some free... No, I won't do it. We start solving the railroad puzzle. And start speaking to the railroad. We're able to very quickly get the Courser chip analysed, and we can head back and speak to Virgil. Or as the last guy called him, the green dick in my gaff. With that we get the signal interceptor plans, but we've got to complete some quests for the Minutemen before we can even build it. So we head straight over to the Corvega assembly plant. This is a quest you're supposed to be doing at level 1, so it's by no means difficult. If anything, it's just time consuming. We take out Jared, and head back and let the people of Overland Station know that they're now safe and sound. I let Preston know about the signal interceptor now, and he tells me, no, not yet, you gotta do some more quests. So for the people of Templin's Bluff, I gotta wipe out all the raiders at the Walden Pond. A strange location because all the raiders here have names. But that doesn't make them any more difficult, and with that we're able to finally start building the teleportation. But I thought before I do that, let me do some more quests as well. Because eventually we're going to have to do these anyway. So in an effort to help some of us place, I get trapped in this room.
You one-legged fat bastard.
With that hiccup out of the way, we're able to play it a little bit smarter, but obviously not smart enough. The thing is, the only goal you've got to do is to take out the one special super mutant. So after making the blowy uppy super mutant finally run away and hit a dog or something, I'm able to take out the enforcer and finally solve this problem for Somerville's place. I thought I'll do this quickly, I'll get this done before I build the signal interceptor, but no. Had to be taking out a bunch of super mutants. In my frustration I wipe out Parker Quinn and decide to go take the castle. Because if there's one thing Scotland's famous for, it's all its beautiful castles. I decided to go for the draw them out plan. Again, as William Wallace, you're going to be a bit more tactical in these attacks. And I'm able to get sneak attacks on this egg. The wee thing in the inside never saw me coming. With all the eggs scrambled, I'm able to fight the Mirelurk Queen. And this is a pretty difficult battle. Now, the Mirelurk Queen does massive damage with its acid breath, and can pretty much take you out in one shot. So, running at it with a massive Scottish broadsword does not yield the best results. I also completely forgot that it can fire out Mirelurk spawn, and it pops it up in signs of grenades. I generally thought that I was just being attacked by the Brotherhood or the Institute for no reason. But with all the Minutemen working together to whittle it down, we're finally able to take out the Mirelurk Queen. With that we power up Radio Freedom, and we're able to finally start building this signal interceptor. Again, this is not very Scottish, but it's a must in Fallout 4. And with that we finally enter the Institute. Now, with this we finally get to meet up with our son. But our son's been imprisoned! It's been imprisoned by this bastard! Now, if you take out Father quick enough, you actually never deactivate Sean. So at this current point, I'm just escaping the Institute, knowing that my son's still been imprisoned, and that I've got to save him. So I go back and let Preston Garvey know that the Institute is now our enemy. So with that, I just gotta finish a couple more quests for the Minutemen. Well, I gotta repeat some of the quests because I get blown up by mines that I had no idea were there. With the Starlight Drive-In taken, we can finally go back and do the Old Guns quest. Before we do anything though, we put the Scottish flag on the wall and go wipe out Sarge in the basement. I think there is a way to get Sarge on your side. I think you can pacify him with the robotics expert, but I don't think William Wallace would be one. We enter into the armory, build up all our artillery, and complete the Old Guns quest. With that, we've still got to do a few more Minutemen quests before we can get the Institute attacking the castle. And unfortunately, we get all the quests that are extremely long. We take out Ak, and we're able to get back the locket. We understand the pain of losing a loved one, so we're happy to help, and head over to County Crossing. County Crossing also has a very boring quest, something that we end up doing a lot. But luckily, we're able to head straight into the basement and wipe out the glowing one. At this point, there's no ifs, ands or buts. It's just about getting all these Minutemen quests done. And they are a bit repetitive. But we're finally able to defend the castle. We head back over and speak to Ronnie Shaw, and we get all our defences built up. The battle with the Institute is, well, pretty difficult and long as it usually is, but it's just a case of popping in and out of the castle. With the castle successfully defended, I also decided to head down to Quincy. You might be wondering why. The gunners here are pretty much like the English. Clint here betrayed the Minutemen, so we're here to get a wee bit of revenge for our army. Clint also decides to try and drop his fusion core on me to blow me up. However, that doesn't work, and Clint's still got plenty of health, and now he doesn't have working power armor. With him popping out in time for my sword, I'll let this clip describe exactly what I think of Clint.
Dirty bastard.
The last named NPC around Quincy is Tessa, and she's probably the more difficult one of taking out, probably the hardest out of all of them. And with her finished off, we're able to do our final assault onto the Institute. After making our way through the sewer, we're finally into the depths of the Institute. Institute? I mean English. We've broken into their castle through the back door, and we're able to allow the Minutemen to enter as well. They give us a fusion pulse charge. I find this neat trick with Rad Scorpion Steak. If you eat one before you run through a barrage of Institute laser weapons, you actually take very little damage. It's actually really handy, something I did not know about the Rad Scorpion Steak. And we also take out the gorillas as well. They're not native to Scotland, so they're not for me. We take out these ghosts and invisible boys. We make sure we do not engage the evacuation, as none of them should be able to survive. And before we take on our final assault, we take some Rad Scorpion Steak. We also make sure that we eat some haggis. And we make sure we listen to the Selkirk Grace as well one more time. We also take some Yao Guai ribs as well for some damage resistance, and start sprinting our way to the end game. I mean, look at that. That is 3 laser turrets all shooting us at once, and we don't lose one little bit of health. The final part is, well, somewhat difficult for a character that has no range weapons, as there's tons of laser turrets just pounding us this entire time. But as long as we get up close and personal to the legendary Sims, we're able to take them out pretty quick. We log on to this special wizard machine, reduce the radiation and open up the door, trying our best not to ghoulify beforehand, and we're able to escape. As I said before, we never knew that Sean was a robot, so we obviously save our son, tell Sturgis to fire up the teleporter, getting ourselves to the mass fusion roof, answering the question that indeed, yes, you can beat Fallout 4 as William Wallace from Braveheart. And with that, there's only one appropriate way to celebrate.
Happy New Year, you bunch of sheep shit!
Oh, that was truly a lot of fun. That was very freeing, you know. Really let me introduce and add a lot of different Scottish things that maybe a lot of the American viewers out there don't know. If you guys have got this far into the video, write the word haggis in the comments. And also let me know if you knew that about the haggis. Whenever I meet someone who's not from Scotland and I tell them about the, you know, the traditional way of haggis and stuff, they always look so confused, and I suppose it's just one of those things that when you live in Scotland you just think, well, everyone knows this, right? But no, not everyone does. If you guys have any other suggestions for other videos, please leave them down below. If you've enjoyed the video, please think about leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. And I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.